everyone! I've decorated a series of rooms inspired by different Sanrio characters in The Sims 4, and the plan was to put them together as a family home, so now that they're done we'll do just that. I included a Hello Kitty entryway with cat care essentials, a cinnamon kitchen, and a Gudetama dining room. There's also a living room inspired by Pom Pom Purin and a Choco Cat office. The bedrooms were inspired by Kuromi and My Melody for the teens, the Little Twin Stars for the toddlers, and Tuxedo Sam for the parents. Lastly, the bathrooms were based on Bad Bats Maru and Kurobi. I wanted the house to blend traditional and contemporary styles because I decided to make it into an old cottage that had been partially renovated. I got that idea because some of these characters have existed since the 70s and they've had a few redesigns over the years. I chose to build a house in the village area of Henford-on-Bagley because Hello Kitty and a few other Sanrio characters are actually English and live in forests and in London. So a lot on Cobblebottom Street in Finchwick seemed like a decent halfway point. If you'd like to watch the stop-motion process of each room in detail and with screenshots, I'm going to have a playlist with those shorts linked in the description, but in this video we're just going to go ahead and start assembling this home. So the first thing I did was to separate the rooms that were going to be on the ground floor from the rooms that were going to be on the top floor, and I realized that some of these rooms had missing items, so for example that archway on the dining room was missing, and at a few different moments in the video I'm going to have to be replacing this. But I wanted to have the dining room be connected to the kitchen, so I did leave a few places for those archways to go, and I decided that since I had enough space for a bathroom in the downstairs, I wanted to have an extra one in there. I ended up adding another bathroom upstairs as well because I was thinking that it was necessary for the toddlers to have access to the Kurobi bathroom, but I had left a door for the teenage twins to have an ensuite bathroom, so I decided to make another bathroom inspired also by Kuromi. But right now in the downstairs I just wanted to replace some of the objects that had been eliminated, and I also added a few windows to the living room because I felt that it needed some, and I also painted these with the same wallpaper that I had in the entryway. I decided to have the hallway inspired by Pochacco instead of having it be more Hello Kitty because the bathroom did end up being more Hello Kitty, but I did try to have some more variety in this, and so I decided that I was going to have a window and some seating underneath, and since Pochacco has like a sporty vibe, I decided to use this sports equipment, this baseball bat from the base game, and this bench from the Bowling Night stuff pack. So I did use a few items from that pack, so I included them here. And I also included this statue with the dog that looks kind of like Pochacco. I think Pochacco looks a lot like Snoopy, so I was actually researching Sanrio and discovered that before they created their own characters, they had the licensing rights for the Snoopy merch in Japan, so I thought that it was interesting that they had later made this character that looks so much like Snoopy. I think he's from like the late 80s, so I don't know, it seemed a bit interesting. So at first I was doing this bathroom inspired also by Pochacco, but then I discovered that this red mirror comes with a cat. So I decided to have it be more Hello Kitty inspired instead, and I think that worked out pretty well because the entryway is the smallest room in the house, so I felt that there could be a bit more of Hello Kitty in different areas. Although it isn't entirely Hello Kitty because I did include these pictures with dogs, I realized that they have a lot more dogs than cats. So I just ended up picking one that looked a bit more cohesive with the color scheme. And then I just decided to place some of the rooms that I was going to have on the upstairs. I kept having problems with the parents' bedroom because the bed and the closet kept disappearing, so I had to do a few different things. Also the toddler beds kept disappearing, and I've just been having some trouble with move objects. I don't know if any of you have also experienced that. I'm finding it very annoying, and I'm going to send a report or something because it is making it very hard to decorate counters, and I make one of these room by room houses every month, so it's going to get very annoying if they don't fix it soon, and I really hope that they do. I've been very happy with the Reapers Reports events, and I'm very excited for the new expansion pack, so I would love it if they could also fix that, because I don't know, I've just been really excited about this game lately, so I want them to keep that up, and yeah, but now we have already had most of these upstairs figured out. I'm going to have a bit of an interesting hallway shape. But that allowed for the doors to be connected to the door to the karaoke bathroom and the door to the teenager's bedroom to be connected to the same hallway, and I was able to have this ensuite in here. I ended up making it a bit larger, so I didn't end up keeping this sink because I did add some counters like the ones that the parents' bathroom has and the kitchen has. They're also from Dream Home Decorators, such as this sink. And I really wanted to use this bathtub and shower combo from Parenthood that has the pink and the black. So at first I was thinking that this was going to be a half and half bathroom, so just like the bedroom, half Kuromi and half my Melody. But I ended up just wanting it to be all Kuromi because that's probably my favorite Sanrio character. So yeah, it's all Kuromi in here. I think that this mirror from Lovestruck with the pictures was perfect in here. I have the same mirror but without the pictures downstairs. And I also decided to have these towels with the void critters. They are from the bathroom clutter kit, and the pastel pop kit was perfect for this idea, so I also have a few items from that kit, and I was just so very happy with that space. It ends up being a lot better once I make it a bit larger. But here I decided to have like a knitting and cross-stitching corner. I did end up making it, reverting it to how it was before without that cube cut out. So it looks a bit odd with the railing, but I think that worked out the best. And I also decided to have a kids activity table because I was thinking that this table had belonged to the teenagers when they were younger, and that they had kept it so that the toddlers were going to use it later on. And so I thought that it was very cute to have this view like a crafty space. And I don't know who is supposed to have worked on those crafts because I think that the toddlers are too young. But maybe they have kept all of those crafts from when the teenagers were little. I also included the parenting board and some other decorations on that long wall, and I did add some of these cross-stitching hoops to this wall, as well as these crafts from Seasons. I think it's very cute that Seasons has these crafts, and I keep forgetting about them because I don't often play with children in my households. I'm changing that a little with my gameplay, and I think I'm going to actually allow my Sims to age once that the Life and Death expansion comes out, because you're going to be able to rebirth Sims. So yeah, I just never want to let them go, so I don't want them to die. But with that functionality, I might, because that way you don't have to say goodbye to your Sims. But yeah, I think that's most of the interior done. I also rearranged the office a little bit so that we could have that extra window, because this house was looking very ridiculous from the outside. And when I was starting the roofing, I discovered that this bathroom if I made this bathroom bigger, it was going to be easier to roof it. So that's what I decided to do, and I think that it worked out the best. So I was able to re-add those bath towels or those bathrobes, and I ended up having a much larger storage space. I still really like that cube from high school years. I have it placed on top of this sink area, and I don't show myself really decorating this space because I just added a plant in here and then I forgot about it, so I just did the rest of it off camera, adding some soap and lotions and toothbrushes, so you will see that in the screenshots. It's really just a very simple thing that I didn't actually record. But yeah, that really allowed me to have this more normal roof line. And I also made a small covered porch. At this time, I wasn't sure if I wanted it to be a thatched roof or to keep these shingles, but I think that the thatched roof really looks nice. I also added this stone from the bowling stuff pack, so I think that it was a bit of a nicer contrast, because the bricks and the stone that comes with cottage living that I was using on the upstairs doesn't contrast so much with all of the other stone that pack has. And I discovered that these foundation from the Castle Estate kit was perfect for that. I am using this swatch with all of that moss, and I think that was very cute, and since it was darker, I felt that it worked really well with this other stone that I was using. And I also added some trim so that the transition wouldn't look so harsh, I suppose. And it will look a bit more realistic. So I had to add some extra flooring to that area, and at first I was using this one. I think it's supposed to be a wooden trim, but then I added this one that is more of a stone, and I think that it worked a lot better. I decided that this porch area would just be covered by some wood, and I really like that this lot has some sort of a way connecting it to the rest of the town, but at the same time I really wish that we had that actual flooring, or at least some Turing paint that was the exact same. But since we didn't have that, I added this stone from Get Together, and that pack also comes with these like stone rocks, so I also added them so that we could have it framed, like the pathway is framed. And I also added these small windows in here since I couldn't add any windows to these walls because of how I had the floor plan arranged. And I added some ivy from Discover University. There's this ivy that goes in the corners that you can use in both outside and inside corners. So I felt that that really made this build look like it had been here for a very long time, which is what I really wanted. I said that I want this to be like a house that had been renovated, but that was probably very old. And I think that maybe this family has had this house for generations. So I really liked that idea, and I also really liked how this fence from Cottage Living also matches that mossy foundation that we have, and the gate is actually from Get Together. I decided to make it a bit custom with an archway from Romantic Garden, and I felt that that worked out pretty cool. And this is that rock that I had mentioned. I sized it down and I wasn't able to have it that close to the edge, which is another one of those like issues that I've been having with move objects. It's starting to get really annoying because it wasn't allowing me to add the mailbox or some of the debug trees because they had like a very large footprint. So I ended up having to find one that had a smaller footprint. I mean, it worked out in the end, but it didn't make me very happy. But yeah, this is how I ended up framing this other walkway so that we could have it connect to the side yard. I probably should have added another gate leading to the back. I didn't think to do that, probably because there wasn't a walkway connecting it to the back. But I could have added that because I also have these monkey bars from Romantic Garden, and I did just add some terrain paint underneath this area so it looked like, Sims were crossing to that side often. I also think that it was very cute to add this little bench and some bunnies and gnome decorations and stuff. That's all from Cottage Living. And behind this, I decided to have the little trunks for the birds and for the bunnies. And I just wanted it to look kind of like, I don't know, like really cute and almost enchanted, and I felt that was very Sanrio. So, just having some mushrooms and wildflowers and everything was very colorful and cute. I also added some grass and low-lying flowers. And then I remembered that we have these very tiny flowers from Romantic Garden, so I added these irises in a few different places around this build. And yeah, that just really reminded me of all of those Hello Kitty illustrations that I saw in my childhood. I actually had these coloring books that I was always too scared to color because it was so perfect, and I was very young, so I wasn't very good at coloring yet, so I didn't want to ruin it. So I just looked at them for a very long time and just was too afraid to touch it, so yeah. I decided to have some chickens and to have that same gate but without that archway, and I also included like some gardening area back here. There's the flower arranging table and some storage and stuff. I also wanted to have a picnic table, and I added the planters from City Living because they were white and they had pink flowers, so that felt very Hello Kitty to me. And I also decided that I wanted to have some bikes for the whole family. I feel that not everyone has a bike, but because the smaller bikes were for the children who had now grown up, and they were still like in the process of getting all of the other bikes. And I also decided to have an extra outdoor trash can in here, just because that's easier when you have chickens, so that you can clean the coop more easily. And then I just added some terrain paint. I am using this new one with the little grass growing in between the tile, and I also made this smaller sitting area because this was such a large family that wouldn't all fit in that picnic table. But that's going to be it for the video. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you also enjoyed the screenshots. Do leave a comment if you have any suggestions for more houses that you would like to see. And I'm going to have some autumn and Halloween builds very soon. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.